Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that's going to help you become your best self. I am sure of it. I'm so happy that you've decided to listen today. Again, thank you for listening, downloading, and sharing the show. Today, we are going to talk about mistakes happen. What now? What should we do now? And I'm excited to talk about this with you today. But really quick, I encourage you to peek down into the show notes. See where you can follow me on Instagram at Sabrina Joy Perozo. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get a DM from you. I'd love to be friends online. So I hope that I hear from you there. But not too much on that. Let's jump into the topic. Again, mistakes happen. Now what? Every single person in the world has made a mistake. Promise. And if they tell you that they didn't, they are straight up lying to you, okay? Let's be real. But I don't think anyone could actually say that with a straight face. I don't think so. Unless they are pushing the blame for their mistake onto someone else. But that's a totally different problem. But yeah, everyone makes mistakes. There is no one in the world that hasn't, except for God and Jesus. But, I meant anyone that's like on this earth right now, has been on this earth besides Jesus. And they've made mistakes. We've all had to deal with it. We've all had those feelings where we feel super embarrassed. We feel super awkward because we're like, crap, I really put myself out there. I really feel bare and alone in whatever the situation is. Or maybe you have people that are joining you in the mistake, but it still feels awkward. It doesn't feel fun. And it feels kind of like you weren't the smartest because you made that mistake, right? But just know that you're in good company because a lot of people have been there. And, mistakes are something we all have to deal with, but some of us struggle more than others on how to recover and handle the situation. It can be like super overwhelming to deal with mistakes when you are a people pleaser or a perfectionist or just someone that allows shame to just like hang on you, that you just really kind of sit in it and you have trouble like getting yourself out of that. And, I am one of these people. So don't worry if you are too, okay? Many of us are. I know that it's a community widespread where we all deal with either people-pleasing, perfectionism, both feelings of shame, like whatever it is, whatever your deal is, we all have something. And so we're all here to encourage each other. And I'm definitely here to be your cheerleader, to encourage you, to let you know that it's okay. It's definitely okay. We all make mistakes, and some of us have a really hard time getting past them. Some of us spend so much time harping on it, really just digging in deep and always like reflecting on the past and how we're all the negative things that we've done, all the things that we've done to maybe hurt someone, hurt ourselves, get in our own way. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And I feel like that is like one single step that I'm able to provide for you here right now. You're not alone. We're all here doing this together, okay? So I just hope that you just take a deep breath, give yourself a pat on the back, and be like, it's okay. It's okay. We're all going to get through this together. So, and something that I talk about all the time is that mistakes are one of the greatest experiences for us to learn from because it forces the learning opportunity rather than waiting for us to take it upon ourselves. And I feel like a lot of times we aren't like stepping up like in line at like a store and being like, okay, I'm ready to learn this really hard lesson. Or maybe it's not a hard lesson. Maybe it's just like a medium lesson or a small lesson. It's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm ready. Do you see my reservation? I am ready to learn this lesson. That's definitely not how it happens. It's generally like these experiences that are not fun, that are super rough, that are just terrible sometimes, where we actually will learn these big lessons that are super important to us for us becoming our best selves, us really accelerating in the world, and, continually living our life on this trajectory of, again, being your best self. And I know it's rarely fun to learn something that way, rarely, if ever, but it is the most impactful, okay? And I think we can all agree to that deep down inside of ourselves. You don't have to share that with anyone. You don't have to write me a letter, but you can. You can send me a DM on Instagram, but to let me know that that is how you feel. But I know that deep down inside, we all realize that as a truth. Like, it's the most impactful way that we learn, by going through these crappy experiences. Getting through these situations also demonstrates so much strength. Okay, so remember that the next time you are hating your current experience, the season of life you're in is really sucky and you're like not wanting to be there, just remember you're going to be so much stronger for it. And as cheesy as that may sound, it's absolutely true. A lot of those cheesy sayings out there are just really true, okay? So you will be so much stronger for it. Remember that that is like your prize, your consolation prize at the end of it all, and also that learning experience that you can take away with you. So today I want to talk about what we can do after we make a mistake. So the idea of my suggestions of what to do after the mistake occurs is to help you get past the experience itself and not dwell on what happened and what you did or didn't do to contribute to the situation. So take the lesson you learned and move on. It's for your own good, your own health, and your own sanity to move forward. So I have 7 suggestions that I'd like to share with you today. So the first one, so obviously the first suggestion is to learn from it, right? And I already mentioned that, but it's important for you to actually learn the lesson so that you don't have to necessarily learn it again. And I understand that sometimes we will learn a lesson and we'll go through the same experience or something that's very similar and learn the same lesson again. But I would love to argue that if we happen to go through a very similar experience again, to look for something else that you can learn from, right? Like, how did you find yourself in this experience again? Rather than the first time of learning whatever you did out of that, but then coming back again, being like, how did I get here again? What in my life led me to get back here again? What could change? But whatever it is, just make sure that you learn from that experience, that mistake, so that you have this very valuable knowledge to take with you into your future. And it can help you prevent you from maybe encountering that same mistake again, or, imparting that wisdom on someone else in your life, and just really understanding and learning something about yourself too through that mistake. So make sure that you learn from it. Make that a priority. The second suggestion I have is to talk about it with those close to you to prevent yourself from falling into shame or staying in that shame. So, whether it's a friend, a family member, a spouse, partner, whomever it is, sometimes when we go through mistakes, we put so much shame on ourselves that we're terrible people. We don't deserve this, that, and the other because we made this mistake. How could anyone else possibly make this mistake? How could you have made this mistake? How could I have made this mistake? And I don't feel like I deserve to be a part of the community anymore. I don't feel like I deserve to be a part of this, that, or the other anymore. And so you just kind of continue to dig this deep hole of shame. And so by talking to other people who love and care for you and support you and want to help raise you back up again, you are able to not maybe fall into as much of a shame pit as you would have, or to help pull you out of that. So that is so super helpful. And I think that you should consider that, especially if you have people around you that you can trust and that does support you. Okay, so the third suggestion is to apologize and make amends with those necessary if someone was hurt by you. So if your mistake impacted someone else and you hurt someone else, like they weren't just an innocent bystander or whatever, apologize. Actually genuinely apologize for what you did wrong or how they were dragged into the situation. And make amends, whatever you feel like is necessary. I wouldn't say you have to bend over backwards for someone. I think that's really manipulative of whomever the quote unquote victim is. If they are making you bend over backwards for some sort of forgiveness or whatever it may be to, mend the relationship, that's going to be a little much. So you might want to watch out for that. But do what's necessary, really talk to them, really ask them what they would see, what they would consider you to do for forgiveness and have that conversation. But yeah, just at least apologize. And you might run into the situation where they don't want to forgive you for whatever reason. And that'll be super hard and it will be heartbreaking for sure. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. And I know that sounds really sucky and you're like, Sabrina, how does that help me at all? I think it helps you to realize that not everything is going to turn out as a happy ending. Not everything is going to be perfect. Not everything is going to go your way. And that's just life. And that is life. And the sooner that we accept it without, coming from a negative place and feeling jaded or feeling like, super pessimistic about everything, it's just more of like living more in the reality of life rather than thinking everything's going to be pitch perfect um, and just beautiful all the time. There are so many, like I'm saying, there's so much you can learn and grow from in mistakes that we have to like go through those dips and to come out the other side even better. So just know that you can apologize and make amends if someone was hurt, and if they don't accept that, then that's on them. And if they do, then that's great. You can repair that relationship. Okay, so the fourth suggestion I have for you is to take responsibility for what your part was. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, generally no one with a straight face is going to be able to tell you that they never made a mistake unless they are, placing the blame of why the mistake was made by you onto someone else. And so they're projecting onto someone else. And that's not the right thing to do. It's just not. Like, if you made the mistake, why are you going to blame Sally Joe or whomever? I apologize if anyone out there's name is Sally Joe. I don't mean it in any sort of negative, derogatory way. But if you are blaming it on so-and-so, then how are you going to learn anything? You're not owning what actually your part was in it. You're pretending to be the victim in the situation. And that's not fair. That's not the right thing to do. So you need to take responsibility for whatever your part was in it. Okay, you need to own it, accept it, understand that that's what you did. This is your repercussions, these are the consequences that you have to face. So, do the adult grown up thing and take responsibility for what your part was. Because if you don't, then you might have to relive this mistake over and over until you actually learn the lesson and take it all in on you so that you can move forward. Because if you're continually trying to push it off yourself, what are you going to learn there? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If anything, you're really just pushing forward and diving deeper into negative habits of projecting those feelings onto someone else when it wasn't even them. So there's that. Suggestion number 5 is to figure out how you can do it better next time. So you're probably telling yourself, Sabrina, I don't want to go through this a second time. I get it. I totally get that. But if you do, or you have to go through something similar, then kind of figure out, not spend a whole bunch of time on it. Don't super dwell on it, but take some time to really be like, what could I have done differently? What could change? How did I get down this path? And did I just not look out for these warning signs? Like, whatever it is, really try to consider just for a little bit, not a lot. Don't spend a lot of time because you'll fall into shame, depression, and sadness, and anger, and all kinds of feelings if you continue to dwell on the past, especially if it's negative experiences. But really just kind of be like, okay, this is what I can do next time if I do encounter that. And you may not necessarily remember to do those things in the moment, but you're kind of at least trying to come up with those things so they're in your subconscious to be like, oh, I've been through this before. This is what I learned. How can I apply this in this new situation that feels similar, right? So I suggest that. Figure out what you can do better next time, especially if you know that this might happen again. Okay, so the 6th suggestion is to forgive yourself. Of course, after you make a mistake, you have to forgive yourself. If you continue to hold that on you and say that you're a terrible person, that you don't deserve this or that or the other, that this mistake is like the worst thing ever, it's going to ruin your life. No, all of that is a little too much. It's a little dramatic. I would personally say you don't have to accept that label, but I feel like it is. It's a little much because those things happen, but they just happen, and they happen to everyone, like I already spoke about. So you have to be better about forgiving yourself, letting it go, again, learning from it, understanding that, and then moving forward. Because if you don't move forward, you're not going to be able to actually apply the knowledge that you've learned from this experience into the rest of your life, or be able to impart that wisdom to someone else that may need it. And you might save them from, encountering that and going through that same mistake. So just make sure you forgive yourself. You deserve it. Every single person in the entire world deserves to be forgiven for their mistakes. And if you can start with forgiving yourself, it could be a lot easier for you to accept forgiveness from someone else, or to even not have forgiveness given to you by someone else, because at least you know that you've forgiven yourself, and that will help you move forward. Okay, so the last suggestion and the seventh one that I have for you today is a really good one as well. I feel like they were all really good, but this is like the best one. I try to save the best for last usually, or first. So know and believe that just because you made a mistake, it doesn't mean you are a mistake or defined by it. You aren't. We aren't defined by our mistakes. We aren't mistakes. God all made us for a purpose. We are all here on purpose. I truly believe that. It's the absolute truth. God knows what He's doing. He's not playing games. You're here for a purpose, for a reason. So believe that. Accept that. Really have that in your heart. And once you have that in your heart, then you know that you are not defined by your mistakes, because we've all made mistakes. And it's like we're not all walking around with like a post-it note on our forehead that has a list of all our mistakes. And so people are able to just, define us by that, judge us by that from like the onset of the relationship or ongoing after the mistake is made. No, we are not defined by our mistakes. We are defined by how we get through those experiences, what we learn from those experiences, and how we can apply it to the rest of our lives, right? We are defined by the person that we are truly in our heart, and that is always growing, developing, changing, becoming better and better all the time. This is why I always talk about how there is no ceiling that you're going to hit in life. If you think that at any point in your life, being alive on this earth, that you have made it to the top, you have nothing else to grow in, nothing else to learn, then you are sorely mistaken. There is always room for growth, no matter what, no matter how much you've accomplished, no matter how much money you have, no matter how perfect you feel like your life is, your job, your kids, your spouse, whomever. You can always learn, you can always grow, you can always become your best self until we leave this earth and go to heaven. So I truly believe that. It's the honest truth. So just know that you are not defined by your mistakes. No one is. We all make mistakes. We all get through them in our own ways. We all need to be moving forward. We all need to be showing how strong that we became after those mistakes and be like, oh my gosh, look how strong Sally Joe is now after she went through that thing. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that so inspiring? Shouldn't we all be really proud of her? And yes, let's be more like Sally Joe, okay? So I hope this has helped you. I feel like I was really just being here, being your cheerleader, encouraging you, telling you you can do it, because I know you can, and I do truly believe that. So if you want even more cheerleading and excitement and encouragement from me, I encourage you to, listen to some past episodes and really get in the thick of me encouraging you to become your best self, and me talking about all the hard things that we go through, but knowing that we can still get through those things despite how hard and how dark it is, okay? So thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. Again, check out the show notes, where you can find me on Instagram, which is at Sabrina Perozzo, or send me an email. I'd love to receive it. It's at realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear from you. You guys are amazing. Again, thank you so much for listening, downloading, and sharing the show. You guys are absolutely my faves for doing so. You are supporting my dream of being able to encourage and motivate as many people around the world as I possibly can. And you are helping me be on the road to accomplishing that dream. So again, thanks for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.